The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when Gavin's beautiful girlfriend, Amber, is brutally stabbed to death, Gavin finds solace in the arms of his sympathetic ex-lover, Meredith. But when Meredith is arrested for attempting to murder her husband, Tim, a husband that Gavin didn't even know about, a shocking web of love, lust, obsession, and deceit unravels. Meet Meredith, a smart and ambitious lawyer who's on the fast track to becoming partner. She's been married to Tim, her college sweetheart, for 13 years.
Oh, what a shot! Damn.
But Meredith finds herself a little bored with the repetition of married life. The spark may have faded from their marriage.
Oh, jeez.
But Meredith has plans to light it back up.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
For Tim, it's a bit of sensuous fun.
Guess what this is?
For Meredith, it's something else entirely.
Ooh, soft. Oh, feather.
Yeah.
I like this game after all.
Tell me what this is.
Well.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I slipped.
It was a knife!
No, it was a letter.
Get it!
So
Get me out of this!
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay!
Tim's not okay.
Call the ambulance!
I don't know where my phone is.
What?
Sorry, I don't know where my phone is. I can't find it.
Get me out of the cops, I'll find a phone.
Oh, okay, I found it. They put me on hold. The thing that song you like.
What?
Hi, 911. I have an emergency.
I'm bleeding.
There's been an accident. Can you send an ambulance right away? It's critical, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, they'll be here in a minute.
I've seen a lot in my 25 years at the FBI, but someone getting stabbed happens every day. Or maybe, just maybe, there's more to this situation than meets the eye.
For 20 minutes, Tim and Meredith wait for an ambulance. But at the 45-minute mark, Tim insists that Meredith drive him to the ER, or he's going to pass out. What is normally a 20-minute drive to the hospital takes twice the time. When Tim and Meredith finally arrive, he's alive, but weak, in severe agony, and covered in his own blood.
Hey!
Oh, hi. Can you please help me? What's
going on?
My husband, something happened.
Lucky for him, a passerby sees the struggle and comes to Tim's aid. Hospital personnel rushes him to the ER. Minutes later, he's in surgery.
I have no idea what happened. I just found him like this.
When the police speak with Meredith, she tells them that Tim got stabbed at work and came home with his wounds.
I don't know what to tell you.
When no ambulance came, she rushed him to the ER.
Do you know anything? Is he okay right now? Do you know anything?
FBI agents and cops are very literal people, so if you're gonna spin us a yarn, it's got to ring true. The thing to do now is hear her out, hear what she's got to say, and then see if the evidence bears it out. That's Investigation 101. Hope you were taking notes. It'll be on the quiz.
This man found us, and he came and he helped me bring him into the hospital.
But the Good Samaritan tells a different story.
This girl just stabbing.
He saw Meredith lunging at Tim with a letter opener, so he came to Tim's aid.
Took her.
If you're gonna try to hoodwink a cop, give it your best shot, but you better hope they've got nothing to check your story against. Meredith figured that Tim wouldn't be alive to tell his side of the story, but he is, and he does.
When Tim wakes up from having the hole in his heart stitched up, he's in no hurry to see Meredith. And his version of the story is very different from the one Meredith told. No, he did not come home bleeding. His wife stabbed him while they were playing a game. She called 911, but no ambulance came. She seemed freaked out that she'd hurt him, but then totally flipped out and started stabbing him again, this time in the parking lot of the hospital. The police have enough to arrest Meredith on suspicion of attempted murder. But they still need to build the case for the trial. Detective Castle is the primary investigator assigned to the case. She carefully combs through Meredith's phone records and finds that she did make a call after stabbing her husband. But she didn't call 911. She called someone named Gavin. Detective Castle does some investigating and finds out that not only does Gavin work at the same law firm as Meredith, but he was investigated in the brutal murder of his girlfriend 6 months earlier.
Making connections is what crime solving is all about. That's what makes Sam Spade's story so compelling. He sees connections other people never would. That moment of insight, that's what you live for.
911, what is your emergency?
I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming and some kind of fight.
When the police arrive expecting to find a domestic squabble, they instead discover something far worse. A grisly murder scene. The victim is Amber, a beautiful young woman with an Ivy League degree who specializes in international law. She's been stabbed 20 times in the face, neck, and torso. The wounds are consistent with a sharp, narrow object, probably an ice pick. No valuables were taken. No witnesses. The neighbor who called 911 is nowhere to be found. The police find blood traces on a sink in the powder room and theorize that the person who killed Amber may have gone into the bathroom to wash up, leaving DNA behind. The blood sample is submitted for analysis, but can take up to a year for accurate results.
Whoever committed the crime was likely known to Amber because she let that person into her home without a struggle. Local cops determined this was likely a crime of passion. An ice pick for a murder weapon speaks to a certain level of coldness. It's a very personal way to commit a murder.
Gavin was considered a prime suspect because he's Amber's boyfriend. He's brought in for questioning by Detective Campbell,
Seemed nervous.
the lead investigator in Amber's murder. Throughout the interview, Gavin is emotionless and vacant.
You guys worked together, that's right?
Yeah, the law firm.
You didn't have any reason to harm her.
No. If I did, why would I tell you? It's an interesting question.
At one point, he even starts picking at his eyebrows uncontrollably. All of these behaviors send up red flags for the investigators. And while Gavin may look like the perfect suspect,
And where were you on the day she died?
I told you I was at work.
he has an ironclad alibi.
I never left the building.
The law firm has an elaborate security system. Its data backs up Gavin's story.
So Mr. Eyebrows is off the hook for now, but if it were me, he wouldn't be completely off. I'd still be digging into his past because you never know what kind of skeletons you might be finding there.
Six months later, Amber's murder is still unsolved. Now, Detective Campbell, who has teamed up with Detective Castle, brings in Gavin for another round of questioning. This time, it's about his connection to Meredith.
This guy Gavin, he better be squeaky clean because he's got a weird way of violence following him around like a bad smell.
Gavin, can you tell me why Meredith would call you instead of an ambulance?
It didn't really make any sense. The phone call.
Hi, 911. I have an emergency.
I'm bleeding.
There's been an accident. Can you send an ambulance right
Sorry?
away?
Meredith?
At first, he denies really knowing her, but eventually admits to a relationship.
I was seeing her before I met Amber.
You went out.
Yeah, when I met Amber, I broke up with her.
It becomes clear that Meredith wasn't thrilled with their relationship coming to an end.
I guess Meredith didn't take too kindly to being cast aside by Gavin, especially for a younger colleague. Talk about your messy workplace love triangle. I mean, we all know jealousy is a powerful emotion. When it's unleashed, it can have a mind of its own. You remember the bunny scene from the movie Fatal Attraction? Who could forget it?
Amber doesn't know it, but she's now in Meredith's crosshairs. In Meredith's mind, it's not that Gavin isn't interested. It's that Amber is in the way.
Did you know she was married?
No? What?
Meredith's married.
Since when?
She's been married for over a decade.
What's becoming clear is that Meredith is a master of deception. She's created a world of her own and beguiled other people into living in it.
Who's her husband? What is...
It's amazing what people can accept or believe, or how ready we are to take a person's word for who they are and what their agenda is.
Tim, the good husband, believes she has a man-hating sister for whom he has to leave the house whenever she visits.
Oh, come on.
Oh, babe, my sister's gonna be here soon.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I guess I'll go watch the game at the bar then.
Okay.
Gavin, the boyfriend, believes he's spending weekends with an attractive single woman. Meredith has spun an elaborate web of lies, making it possible to live the perfect double life.
So Meredith stabs her husband, claiming it was an accident. And then we learn that she had an affair with a guy at work who traded her in for a newer model, which she didn't take kindly to. And that woman gets murdered, and that crime is never solved. Wow, that's way too much coincidence for me. If I were a betting man, I'd be looking more closely at Meredith.
Having already established means and opportunity, police now have motive. Meredith had been having an affair and wanted her husband out of the way so she could be with her lover, Gavin.
You've heard that expression, open and shut? Well, that pretty much describes the case against Meredith when it goes to court. The prosecution demolishes her implausible and constantly changing story. The stab wounds, the witnesses, the phone call to Gavin that proves she never even called 911.
Meredith is convicted for the attempted murder of her husband, Tim, and is sentenced to 20 years. One case might be closed, but police are convinced that Meredith is involved in Amber's death. They just need to prove it. Detective Castle listens to the anonymous 911 call made on the night of Amber's murder.
911, what is your emergency? I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming and some kind of fight.
And is convinced that the voice belongs to Meredith. But when the 911 call is put through voice recognition software, the comparison isn't conclusive.
Voice recognition software is a great tool for investigators, but because it's not 100%, it won't hold up in court. Investigators need to find evidence against Meredith that isn't circumstantial. They need something that will give them means and opportunity.
Detective Castle searches the company records where all three people in our love triangle worked. She makes a key discovery. Meredith left work at the same time as Amber did on the day of her murder. Meredith returned 2 hours later.
The first M is motive.
So, court date Wednesday.
It is clear that Meredith was obsessed with Gavin and determined to be with him. Amber was the obstacle. Means. An ice pick isn't hard to get. And Meredith clearly knows how to stab someone because she's now in prison for having done just that. And the O is for opportunity. She had that as well. That security system that proved Gavin was at work when Amber was killed now reveals that Meredith was out. And Amber knew Meredith and would have let her into her home. So we have means and opportunity. But it's still circumstantial and won't necessarily hold up in court. Investigators need a smoking gun, a piece of evidence that places Meredith at Amber's home.
Finally, the blood spatter analysis comes back for the DNA found on the sink in Amber's bathroom. And they found a match. It's the smoking gun the police have been looking for. The blood found on Amber's sink matches Meredith's DNA. This places Meredith at the scene of the crime and is enough to arrest her for Amber's murder.
At some point during the fight, without realizing it, Meredith nicked herself with the ice pick. This is actually very common, especially when the attacker is holding a sharp weapon that is slippery with blood. But when she washed her hands, she left some of her own blood on the faucet. And that's why the DNA results showed Amber's blood mixed with Meredith's.
When Meredith starts talking,
I love Gavin. I just wanted to be with him.
the investigators realize she's one of those rare things.
Like the only solution.
Yes. Yeah.
A true monster
She deserved it. She was making me crazy.
who's played everyone in her life to satisfy her lusts and obsessions.
I had to be around them, flirting. It just drove me insane, like seeing them together. Every day at work, like making out in front of me. Unprofessional.
When she lost Gavin to Amber, she set out to get him back, whatever the cost.
How did you kill her?
First, I hit her on the head with this thing and she fell to the ground, and then I stabbed her. I stabbed her multiple times.
20 times.
Was it 20? I don't know. It felt like not enough.
Let's go over it one more time.
I went to her house.
Would you like some water?
I would love some. Thank you.
What brings you by?
Oh, not much. I just wanted to come see your place. Hello. I think there's a man attacking my neighbor. I heard her screaming in some kind of fight. Can you send an ambulance?
After eliminating her competition, Meredith cleans herself up and then heads back to work like nothing happened. With Amber out of the picture, Meredith can have Gavin all to herself. They rekindled the affair, but this time, Meredith isn't prepared to lead a double life. There's only one person standing in the way of Meredith living happily ever after with Gavin. Her husband, Tim.
People who get away with murder once tend to get cocky. An ice pick worked nicely on Amber, but Tim is stronger, so Meredith figures out a way to trick him. But in the end, all she did was lay the breadcrumbs that led the investigators of Amber's murder right to her.
I'm very sorry, okay? I'm very sorry, but I had no other choice. I'm not sorry I did it. She deserved it, okay?
Meredith is sentenced to 60 years for the murder of Amber.
The lesson here? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Meredith may have led the perfect double life and thought she got away with the perfect murder. But like most criminals, your past usually catches up with you. If it hadn't been for this blood on the faucet, she might just have gotten away with it too. Meredith should be free to start a new life in 2089. She'll be 109. Who knows? By then, 109 might be the new 90.